Hello again. This is Anthony Tazgall, part three of my little series of clips on Insight for the Insight book, which is out now. There we go. So I talked a bit about some quotes on Insight, what it is, some tips about how to find insight as an individual. So I thought maybe I'd just finish this set of three by looking at what cultural characteristics we can create or encourage to build a system of what I call incitement. So we're not just talking about individuals, we're building a culture which is insight friendly. So again, I'll see if I can get the magic number three. So the first one is what I call using a PUD file. Now, Stephen Jay Gould, who was a famous science writer, paleontologist, talked about insight as being something that you can get from applying previously unapplied detail, PUD. Well, I've always loved that thought, and I'm happy to steal and adapt it from him. As a great evolutionary thinker, I'm sure he won't mind if I adapt it. So what I say is, as an individual, but also as a team, create a previously unapplied detail folder. Do it as an individual, but also if each member of each team does it collectively, you can create this sort of intranet, this resource, where you just put in things that are interesting or unexpected, or just created a sort of, oh, okay, that's funny thought. And then if you dip in and out of it individually, but also as a team, there's a good chance that these ideas will collide and coalesce and overlap and create something new, perhaps some insight. The second thing I'd like to talk about is what I call TBC, which is humbly Taz's book club. Now, it's a shameless plug, I know, but the idea really is, if you want to come up with insight, you've got to have one foot in, but also one foot out, or outside of your market. Again, as somebody that used to be a planner and ad agencies, one of the things I loved was being able to work across different clients and different markets. So at one point, for example, I was working on Cadbury chocolate, my first love. My blood is 80% chocolate. But also I was working on Peugeot, going to Coventry, trying to promote cars. And I'd be working on another brand like Evian or Airbus, or maybe a charity. Very, very different markets. But that idea is that you have lots of different things and markets and consumers. And again, your brain unconsciously is seeing connections and patterns between those different markets and consumers. But the book club is something that I also recommend that you do, you think about. Read books, obviously, any of mine. There's loads of them. It's the Turkish one for some reason. But my point is, read widely, but get your brain to not just focus on cars or yogurt or financial services, because then again, it's more likely that your unconscious will borrow and steal and adapt ideas from different places. So read widely, go to see films, go to art galleries, because again, all those things are grist to the insight mill unconsciously. And then my third recommendation as a culture is find ways of creating ways in which people can bump into each other. I think I mentioned the book Pixar famously made sure that their offices in California, everyone has to go through the central forum, which creates ways in which people bump into each other. Because that idea of people bumping into each other serendipitously, and serendipity is something I talk an awful lot about in the book. Serendipity is the mother of insight. So if you bump into people who you perhaps weren't expecting to bump into, there's more likely you'll have those chance conversations. What are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you reading? Oh, that's interesting. So, and again, I'll end with a point about companies and getting people back into offices. I say in the book, which was written during sort of the last part of the pandemic, I think it's important that we get people back into offices, I think at least 3 days a week, because that way people will bump into each other. People will sit having a cup of tea, other hot beverages are available, or they're in a lift, or they're making toast, but they're bumping into each other, having these chance conversations. And that, as I say, is a great breeding ground for insight. So those three things: the previously unapplied detail file, folder, Taz's book club, TBC, and having ways of getting people to bump into each other in offices. So that's the end of this section of 3 little clips about the book. Hope you found this useful. Please, what do they say? Recommend this, pass it on, and hopefully buy the book. And again, hope you enjoy that. So thanks again for your time. See you soon.